American media reporting that Jimmy Carter has died. Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, has passed away at the age of 100. A Democrat, he served as president from January 1977 to January 1981 after defeating incumbent Republican President Gerald Ford in the 1976 US election. He was swept from office 4 years later in an electoral landslide as voters embraced Republican challenger Ronald Reagan, of course, the former actor and Californian governor. Jimmy Carter lived longer after his term in office than any other president. Now, along the way, he earned a reputation, of course, as a better former president than he was a president, something that he did readily acknowledge. His one-term presidency was marked by the highs of the 1978 Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt, bringing some stability to the Middle East, something we've heard a great deal of in the last year or so. But it was dogged by an economy in recession, persistent unpopularity, and, of course, the embarrassment of the Iran hostage crisis that consumed his final 444 days in office. Now, in recent years, Jimmy Carter had experienced several health issues, including melanoma that spread to his liver and brain, and only in the last 24 hours or so was it reported that he wouldn't be attending Donald Trump's inauguration in January because of health issues. He decided to receive hospice care in February 2023 instead of undergoing additional medical intervention given his age. His wife, Rosalind Carter, died in November 2023 at the age of 96. And indeed, he did look frail when he attended her memorial service and attended that funeral in a wheelchair. He left office profoundly unpopular, but he worked energetically for decades on humanitarian causes and had remarkable success. So much so, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize back in 2002 in recognition of his untiring efforts to find peaceful solutions to international conflicts, to advance democracy, advance human rights as well, and to promote economic and social development. Jimmy Carter had been a centrist as governor of Georgia with populist tendencies when he moved into the White House, as I say, the 39th US president. He was a Washington outsider, really, at a time when America was still reeling, of course, from the Watergate scandal that led Republican Richard Nixon to resign as president in 1974 and elevated Ford from vice president. I'm Jimmy Carter and I'm running for president. I will never lie to you, Jimmy Carter famously promised with that ear-to-ear smile which he became famous for and which we're seeing on screen. Asked to assess his presidency, Carter said in a documentary that was made in 1991, the biggest failure we had was a political failure. I never was able to convince the American people that I was a forceful and strong leader. Despite his difficulties in office, Carter had few rivals for accomplishments. As a former president, he gained, as I say, global acclaim as a tireless human rights advocate, a voice for the disenfranchised, and a leader in the fight against poverty and hunger.